Okay, this is a question on changing settlements in the UK, looking at rural and urban regions and how they're changing. Question 1 shows the countries of birth of the populations of 3 urban areas in the UK, urban areas. So we've got Eastbourne on the south coast, we've got Hull up by Holden Ness, and we've got the City of London. And what we're seeing here is a different mix of people born in the UK, from outside the EU, which is the yellow one, and from inside the EU, which is the red one. Question 1 just says, describe the differences in populations of the 3 urban areas. What we're going to try and show here is that the City of London has got a far bigger mix, a far bigger proportion of people coming from outside the UK, be that the EU or outside the EU. We might then want to contrast that with Hull, which has got the smallest amount, and you might want to put the percentage on there, which is 10%. And then you might want to contrast that with Eastbourne, which has got 15%. If we think about the reasons why, which is the next question down, why is it that the City of London has got more migrants than Hull or Eastbourne? Well, that's got to be because of job opportunities. It might be because there are already migrant communities in those places in London. So they can go there and they can relate to people of their culture, and they might have a network where they can get jobs. It might be because there are more housing opportunities. And certainly for Eastbourne, it might be because of geographical proximity to Europe. So if people come through the Channel Tunnel or on the boats, that might be that they decide to settle somewhere near that side. Okay, so you've got different things you can talk about there. You've only got to find 2 you can develop reasons on. It actually only says 1 reason, which is developed to get those 2 marks. Okay, right, next question. This is a big one. It's an 8 marker. Examine how, let's just put that into shot. Examine how different strategies have been used to encourage economic development in rural regions. Lots of you talked about London and urban regions. It must be rural regions. So there's 2 case studies which you should have done in class. The first of all, we could look at East Anglia, and we can look at some of the infrastructure developments, such as the A12, such as the commuter developments in places like Colchester, a very successful, prosperous region. We've got the port at Felixstowe, we've got Stansted Airport. They've all been put in, and we've seen vast improvements in the wealth and value of a prosperous region like East Anglia. So you can look at those infrastructure upgrades there in terms of a strategy. We also have regional development funds, East of England Development Fund, which have also helped with that. We could then look at specific projects. So we could maybe look at the Eden project, which is in St Austell in Cornwall, which is a deindustrialised China clay mine. Again, try and get that keyword in there whenever you can. And what they've done there is they've developed it into an absolute beacon of sustainability. It's a huge tourist attraction. It's regenerated St Austell and the surrounding rural area where there was big unemployment as a result of the industry moving away. So we've got East Anglia with the A12, we've got the Eden project. We could also talk about perhaps national parks such as the Peak District, how they've been put in to, again, develop tourists coming in there. We could talk about ecotourism, and how these rural regions are actually playing on the fact that they're quite wild, they're quite sparsely populated, and people might want to go on there for holiday, for recreation, spend money in the local economy, develop the economy, raise house prices, and all those things which are ultimately going to lead to development. So you need to have 2 or 3 case studies in there. They need to have facts, they need to have figures, and they need to definitely relate to those rural regions and economic development. That's how you get the 8 marks there.